friends, thank you for joining us for another episode of Fort Worth Roots. This is a podcast for Fort Worthians who love our city and want stories from our community's creators. You love Fort Worth? You want to know what's happening in your backyard? Then this podcast was made for you. You can find this show on all the major platforms. You can find it on YouTube and all the social medias. Just look for Fort Worth Roots, or you can go to our website, fortworthroots.com, and we've got, I think, all of the links there. Except for all the shows. There's too many of those to put on one website. Maybe there's a way to do that. I haven't discovered it yet. But, yeah, you can go to where you listen, type in Fort Worth Roots. It should pop right up. I reached out to the local veteran community, and the idea was, hey, I've got free time at the beginning of these shows. Why don't I highlight some local veteran businesses? First company got back to me was Squad STX Boys Camping. Here's their mission statement. Squad STX is an overnight primitive camping, hiking, orienteering, and lasertag course for boys designed by the U.S. Army infantry officers as an alternative to Boy Scouts in traditional summer camp. We develop strong leadership skills through squad competitions, time-tested military training methodologies, and situational training exercises. How bad did I butcher that? Was that terrible? Anyway, you can check it out. SquadSTX.com is their website. These guys were nice enough to let me shout them out on the show, and we actually just did a interview with Dustin Stewart, the owner of STX, and his bandmate, Jake James Franklin. Together, they are Blue Light 100s. So that'll be coming at you pretty quick. Just so you know, you don't have to keep up with the schedule for the show. What you can do is wherever you're listening to podcasts, you can hit subscribe on your podcast player, and it will update you. It'll let you know whenever there's a new episode available. There's even functions on most of these players where you can set it to automatically download. Totally up to you, but you don't have to keep up with the schedule. Something like that will remind you, and we do release these episodes every single Monday. Let's see here. River Oaks Springfest. Let me try it again. River Oaks Springfest car show is happening April 30th, and that's going to be on a Saturday. You got over 2 months to prepare for this thing. It's going to be the first time Fort Worth Roots has gone to an event. We're going to get out and meet people, and I don't know, might be handing out stuff, talking, might do some recordings. I'm not really sure yet, but like I said, we got 2 months to decide what we're going to do. But we'll be there, and we want you to be there too. It's kind of centrally located. If you don't know where River Oaks is, it's just west of downtown Fort Worth, kind of in between downtown Fort Worth and the military base, Carswell, JRB Carswell. They're going to have vendors. There's going to be a pop-up market, games, and dozens, if not hundreds, of classic cars. Those numbers have not been finalized yet. We're still a little ways out, but it's going to be cool, and I'd be thrilled to see you there. So make sure you bring everybody out. It's going to be a very kid-friendly event, and lots of stuff to do. And they do have a Facebook page, so if you want to go and check out some of the happenings, you can go to the River Oaks Springfest Car Show Facebook page, and they'll be updating you. And we'll try to keep you up to date here at Fort Worth Roots too. We have a Facebook page as well. It's Fort Worth Roots on Facebook, and you can also find this information in our show notes. Our guests today are a power couple out of the Fort Worth area. Their website is latetothestationmusic.com. On Bandcamp, I'll include that link in the show notes, but you can get to their music through that website. Their 2 albums that they have out are Hot Ash, and one that released on 2/2/22 was the date of the release of Just Us. And those are both on their website. I'll make sure that's in the show notes. We were lucky enough to get our artist to play 3 songs in this recording. I feel like I'm stealing from these people whenever they play so much for us, but it's great. And this episode was a real treat putting together in post-production. I had a lot of fun with this. I hope you guys enjoy it. Please give it up for our guests today, Cari and Paul Smith. And let's start the show. What are you playing for us now?
This one's called Cold Blooded, and it's just, we had an experience with somebody that just kept extending, the benefit of the doubt to somebody, and they just kept taking it, and eventually you're like, no, this person's just cold-blooded. Yeah. So here we go. Some say he's successful 'cause he drives a fancy car. Others say conniving 'cause he'll pick right right at your scars. I call him a has-been, 'cause his game has been exposed. You keep him at an arm's length with all your cards held close. He's cold-blooded. Yes, that's what he is. He's cold-blooded. No, he ain't got no friends. He's cold-blooded. Yes, he pays for affection. Cold-blooded. Slithers in every direction. Some folks call him Tin Man, 'cause they think he got no heart. Others think he's Einstein. Yes, they think he's wicked smart. I call him backstabber, 'cause it's what he did to me. You think that you can't trust him? Well, just wait a while, you'll see. He's cold-blooded. Yes, that's what he is. He's cold-blooded. No, he ain't got no friends. He's cold-blooded. Yes, he pays for affection. Cold-blooded. Slithers in every direction. Could have been a leader, even they make mistakes. But betrayal's in his psyche. He's just wired up that way. Could have been a savior, one that we could all look to. The lion is his fabric, and he wears a three-piece suit, 'cause he's cold-blooded. Yes, that's what he is. He's cold-blooded. No, he ain't got no friends. He's cold-blooded. Yes, he pays for affection. Cold-blooded. Slithers in every direction.
Awesome. Awesome. This is over every time this happens now. It's almost like sensory overload having somebody this amazing play this close to you. You know, you don't know what to do with your hands. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
And what a beautiful guitar.
Thank you. We were very, very fortunate. So, long story. I'll try to make it short. For our 5th wedding anniversary, we bought a 1965 Volkswagen bus.
69.
69, thank you. And we fixed this thing up. I mean, and for 10 years, every time we had summers off, we would drive around the country and basically live out of this thing in the summer.
That's awesome.
And after about 10 years of it breaking down and constantly fixing it, we're like, all right, we need something different.
Yeah. Just more trouble than it was worth.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, some amazing experiences, and we met the most amazing people doing it, but
it's cool that you can fix it, but you get tired of doing it.
Right,
Do it all the
Let's
time.
just go somewhere and know we're making it home.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, now I know I can do that.
One of those experiences in the past.
That's funny.
But we sold it to kind of finance getting our musical instruments and everything up to snuff, and this is one of the things that I was able to purchase because of the sale of that. So
Now, I don't know anything about guitars, so this is a Taylor?
this is a Taylor, and it's a Koa wood. It's not their most expensive Taylor, but most retailers for guitars aren't really set up for the female. You go in and it feels like you're going in a Best Buy where everyone's male, and so sitting there and asking people to pull $1,000 guitars off the wall is kind of intimidating.
Okay.
But one day we did it and played just about everything on the wall, and finally hit this one. I was like, that's it. That's the one I need to have. That one.
The sound coming out of it's incredible.
Thank
Is
you.
that what made the decision?
Yes, and it's easy to play. I have, I guess, regular size hands, not extremely large or small, but I can get all the way around it.
Yeah.
So I can maneuver it, and I felt like it had a really nice pure sound.
Yeah. Well, that's probably the most important part, right? You got to be able to be comfortable with the instrument. We had a guest on the other day. He's got a very thin, like the body of the guitar is very thin, so it doesn't put out a very full sound. But usually, I guess he's plugged into something where he can adjust that. But he's got it because he's a smaller frame dude, and he needs something that he's comfortable with. So I think that's probably got to be pretty important.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fort Worth musician John West, who's part of the Southern Note Band, he works at a guitar center near us.
Okay.
And we've been to some of his gigs. He'd seen us play a few times. And so we went in that day, and he was there.
Okay.
I was like, she's in a buying mood.
It's like,
So he was
Get the
pulling them off the
keys.
wall.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, when she started strumming that one, something
It felt right.
a little more magical than the others.
Yeah. Absolutely beautiful. So I did some internet snooping and trying to learn a little bit about you. You're a little bit hard to search for on the internet, but I found some of the venues that you've been playing at.
Okay.
And looks like you guys are all over the place.
We are. I have Broyles to thank for that, Matthew Broyles, because we had a real good conversation one time, and he said, you just really have to pound the pavement and call these people. And so I kind of took that as part of the job. I think for many years I had that idea that I was going to be discovered playing in my bedroom, and that just doesn't really happen.
Yeah.
You have to do the work. So he sent me a spreadsheet of, places to try. And so on Monday, it's become a regular thing. I sit down and, just cold call, email 10 people.
Yeah.
Every Monday.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah. And some Mondays, we'll get 3 or 4 hits back, and some Mondays it's nothing. So, but you have to be real regular about it. That and another one of our friends, a great guitarist, his name is Chad Collins. He connected us with the person that books a lot of his gigs.
Talking about Matthew's gigs?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're very fortunate.
Yeah, he gets a small take, and it's totally worth it. Because he's doing all the work we don't want to do.
Yeah? Okay.
Say, yeah, I'll do that gig.
Yes,
you show up,
I'll
you
show
get paid.
up.
It's like, sweet.
Yeah, it's great.
Matthew brought this up the other day. We had him on last Friday, not this last Friday when we were all iced in, but the Friday before. And he was talking about like kind of the different levels of musicians, like not necessarily their skill level, but where they are professionally. Mm-hmm. And he was telling me that his goal is to get to the next level, which he calls, I believe he called it middle class musicians, or middle level, something like that. Uh-huh. And I didn't think of it this way until he broke it down for me, because I'm an outsider and I don't know anything about music. But he's content with where he's at right now. Of course, he always wants to do better, but he's playing gigs 2, 3, 4 times a week, and that's a comfortable spot for him. And I think a lot of musicians want to get to that level. And you're right, you can't do it just expecting them to discover you in your bedroom.
Right.
But that's great that you're out there looking for these gigs, because I know for a fact if they hear your voice once, they're going to want you to play at their venue.
Well, thank you.
Right?
Thank you.
It's gone well.
I bet.
I can't. I'm actually blown away that it's happened at all. I feel very fortunate.
Well, and we hadn't started recording yet, but you were talking about how you wanted to be in a community where, there was lots of venues and you could get around by rail, and you didn't have to move to a city like that. It's kind of coming to you.
Yes.
And I think everybody kind of agrees that over the years, Fort Worth has really become a musician's hub. We had artists. Did you go to the Joe Savage Sunday at the playground?
I haven't.
Okay, so this is a really cool thing, and unfortunately, I just saw a post from him saying that the building was vandalized, so they're not going to have it this Sunday. But bringing in musicians from all over the place, San Antonio and Denton and Dallas, of course, and just meeting right here in Fort Worth. And I think a lot of musicians are warming up to the idea that Fort Worth it's much more more well suited for musicians nowadays than it used to be. And there's plenty of venues, and all the restaurants are kind of on board with having live music, and it's enriched our community a lot. And I want to say probably since about 2012, that's whenever they started updating the 7th Street area and Magnolia and all these little pockets that we have with great venues and great restaurants. Mm-hmm. So probably over the last 10 years, we've really seen some changes with Fort Worth, and it's great.
Yeah, we were lucky this last year. We got in that loop to play at Fred's Texas Cafe.
Okay.
Where they do live music all the time, and the people that go there know they're going there to have an awesome burger, and there's going to be music.
This is Fred's that just closed down?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Well, they're going to open a new location.
It's going to be on Camp Bowie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we played there 5 or 6 times last year.
Right.
Y'all know, and incredible musicians there.
Yes.
Always great. Do y'all have, any insider information on when they might be opening up?
No.
No.
I knew that it was supposed to take, I think originally they were thinking it would take them the month of January, but, things are kind of unpredictable on a lot of levels right now. So
Sure. Well, and there's a place in River Oaks, I think it's called Grumps, and they have several restaurants around the DFW area, but they were planning on opening, I think, in either November or December, and now it's been pushed back to March.
Oh.
So there's a lot of places like that that are having issues with, I guess, trying to find somebody to do the work and permits, surely.
Can they get supplies to do what needs to be done? Yeah.
I've walked into the store several times over the past few months and just been blown away by how empty the shelves were.
Yeah.
It's really scary.
I think it's going to be something that we're kind of constantly dealing with. I think supply chain, I was reading this, it's going to be a long-term path back.
What is the deal with that? Like all I've heard is they were having issues at the shipyards, and there's logistical issues with the trucking companies and things like that. I think California has really made things difficult because of some new requirements that they have either for the drivers or the trucks or something to that effect.
Yeah, there was some of that, and some of that had already started, like in 2018 is when that really started kicking off. A lot of people are retiring.
Yeah.
I know in our profession, a lot of people that work the job that we work, like Navy vets that came back from Vietnam and did this, and now they're retiring. And, our job is kind of a manual labor job, and not a lot of people want to do that.
You're not talking about your music?
No. Like our 9-to-5 job.
And what is that?
We own and manage a swimming pool maintenance and repair company.
Okay. So no shortage of work there, I'm sure.
No.
How long have y'all been in business with that?
Since 2011.
We're working on year 11, I think.
Yeah.
So you've got a solid, robust client list. And probably don't do any advertising at this point.
We do not.
And it's just the two of you?
Yes.
Oh, wow. No employees?
Nope.
Yeah, well,
we do it all.
I understand that. I had 13 employees at one point, and it was a nightmare.
Yeah. You end up spending more of your time, I think, managing people than managing the problems of the business.
Sure.
So this, the committee meeting is what needs to be done, how's best to approach it. All right, let's do it.
Yeah.
And it's great. It's very effective. So.
Yeah, we were both teachers for over a decade, Grapevine, Colleyville, and I was also at Birdville Independent School District for a while. Mm-hmm. And we got out of that to start this business, the pool business.
Yeah.
And that went great. After 1 year, I did good enough where she got to quit as well. And then we've been doing it together all the other years. The supply's there too. But,
especially nowadays.
But yeah, no shortage of demand. So
I'd be interested to hear your take on education the way it is now. And what do you think the kiddos are, how are they going to be impacted by the last 3 years? It's just, we've never seen anything like this.
I know.
And I wonder what that's going to do to the development of these kids that were, in grades 1 through 5 and missing 3 years of actual normal school life.
They're going to be forced to learn some patience and resiliency and how to adapt to change more than they might have, because they had to. For the teachers, I'm sure it's awful.
Killing them. Yeah.
My fiance is actually, she's a school counselor, and the stories she comes home with talking about the relationship between the parents and the student, or the conversations that she has between the parents and the staff, the teachers. It's just wild. People's perception of what's going on at those schools and how some people just don't get it at all. And it affects the children in a very negative way.
Yes.
So it's going to be wild to see how that unfolds and what kind of studies are done in the future to see how big of an impact this had on them.
I think too, I was thinking about this very thing this morning, and I was thinking, historically, you try to think about what other generations would have been impacted in this manner. Like I think about, small children in London during World War II when everything was just, there's no way they're going to school through that.
Yeah.
Or, like my grandparents' generation in the Dust Bowl, and, when everyone's moving because of the Great Depression, there was not a lot of continuity in education or placement in that. Mm-hmm. So historically, we've dealt with it before. I think just from my perspective, my life has been so very undisturbed until recently.
Yeah.
You know, and historically, that's probably not always been the case. The one thing I think I can hang my hat on is that there are so many people who still put compassion first, and whatever needs to happen to get us back on the right track with policies or with curriculum or with community. I know that there are people out there that will seek out those jobs and make them happen. I think it's just as digital as we all are now. I still believe that compassion will be the thing that brings us back together.
Well, it would certainly be a value like that over anything else, right? Mm-hmm. So what subject did y'all teach before you made the big move to entrepreneur?
I taught elementary music. I don't even know how long. And then I got the wise idea that I wanted to go into administration, so ended up teaching almost all the grade levels and getting an ed degree, and then kept interviewing and not getting the job, thank goodness. And after a while, just it's like, all right, we got to go a different direction now.
Yeah.
And then
I always taught high school level, so 9 through 12. And my first 5 years, I taught all of the social studies. So world geography, world history, U.S. history, government, economics. I taught all the business classes as well. And I taught them all at the same time in a classroom with students that were freshmen through seniors. And it was a type of special education program where everyone was emotionally disturbed. Like you were at least that if you were in my room. Autism, Tourette's.
Okay.
But emotionally disturbed, oppositional defiant.
Okay.
People that needed some behavior management.
So Mr. Smith's class was a real rodeo.
Yes. And I always had, thank goodness, an educational assistant with me. So there were 2 adults, we could team up and manage the class. But like we did the old school program, the Boys and Girls Town Point system, and rewarding people for positive behaviors and redirecting negative behaviors while you're teaching all these different things all at once.
Yeah.
I'd have something on an overhead, something on a video, worksheets over here, a group over there, and all of that while working on behavior.
Yeah.
And meeting special education, individual education plans, and all of the modifications and such. That made all my hair fall out.
little gray there for that, right?
And the next 5 years, I still taught all social studies, and it was still a unique format, and it was in the Grapevine Colleyville Independent School District where we did it's on-campus credit recovery. Most schools, when you have students that need credit recovery, you go off campus. And this one, we had them come in, and we had the curriculum was on laptops, and everyone's going at their own pace. The goal was just to get them in the building, earn that credit, and go. Attendance wasn't working.
Yeah.
So that's why the program was made, to get them in there, just get the work done, learn what you need, and get out.
Graduate.
More self-paced.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they've been there 5 years or whatever, or less, but they're behind. Catch up, get out, and stay on campus.
Yeah.
It was cool.
When did the light bulb go off whenever you decided that pool business was going to be your field of expertise?
We're do-it-yourselfers. Our neighbor across the street was running his own business, and he saw us working on that Volkswagen bus. He saw us everything we were doing to our house and our yard. He's like, if you can do all that, you can run your own pool business. So I rode around with him for like 6 months.
And that's what he was doing was...
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's cool.
Yep. And got lucky. Had one lady that did some marketing for us, and that was just a gold mine because it just turned into referral after referral. You do a good job, you're in demand, people are going to talk. As soon as they call you, they trust you already because they got your number from someone else that you took care of.
Yeah.
It's been great.
Do you ever run into a situation where you're literally servicing every pool in a certain neighborhood?
We have streets where we have 3 or 4 in a row.
Yeah.
Our route is very tight.
Yeah.
We don't hardly put any miles on the truck.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
And we're South Lake, Colleyville, Grapevine.
So it's very dense, just right there.
Yeah.
If it's broke, please fix it. Let me know when you can.
Just
send me the bill.
Send me the bill.
Instead of how much is that going to be?
Mm-hmm. You've got
I'll
that.
Fix it.
You've got that trust there.
Yes.
They know you'll take care of them.
Yes.
That's awesome. So you've been able to manage your own schedule, and neither one really interfere with the other. You've got your music and you've got your business, and since you're in charge of both, there's never any issues.
And it's been nice too, because we've been able to, we're not getting any younger, so to be able to gig a little more and do a little bit less manual labor in the summer, it's been really nice to be able to kind of trade off,
Yeah.
And hopefully we continue to tilt more this direction.
Right,
but
right.
if we don't, we understand.
So how long back did you, and you might have told me this, but when did you start really paying attention to dedicating one day a week to calling these venues and restaurants to try to get something on the schedule?
Probably last year. Last year, really. I had one gig lined up at our little neighborhood pub, and I went to go play, and they had shut down that day.
Because of COVID?
No, This is like 2016. Like, they closed. Like, the owner had like a cocaine problem, and they closed. And
it was 2019.
so I was like, okay. So I have a girlfriend that owns a art gallery in Georgetown, and I called her. I said, listen, we're all practiced up. Can we just come play in your shop? And she said, sure. So that was like our real first honest to goodness gig. We didn't get paid.
It was 3 hours in a gallery full of people.
Yeah.
Everybody stayed. We're like, okay,
All
we don't
right.
suck.
Awesome.
Right? We didn't stink up the place, so
Yeah.
maybe we got something.
So you've always been a duo since the very beginning?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for a while we were a trio. But just, it's kind of unfair to the third person, because we live together and decide things, and it's like, oh, by the way.
Yeah. Well, if you find somebody that's okay with that.
Right.
Some musicians don't want to do any of the planning, right?
That's true.
They just want to show up, do the thing, and go.
Right.
Yeah.
I think also too, we have a low threshold for boredom. So if we, play the same thing too often, we need to rehearse and do something different.
Okay.
So-
So it'd be hard for a third party to keep up with your...
It might be.
Yeah, we wake up and play together every morning. We leave our setup as if we're gigging right behind our sofa in our living room. And it's part
there.
of our room.
Get up and have coffee and start practicing.
I was about to ask, does the coffee come first?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. we have a hot tub. We get in the hot tub. Then we have coffee. Then we play some. And then we have breakfast. And we play some more. And then we look at the clock. We're like, we better go to work.
Time to get the day started.
Yeah.
That's an awesome setup. I think anybody
It's
would be okay with
great.
that
We
setup.
are very spoiled.
We are super spoiled.
Super spoiled.
Got any fur babies?
We had
We
a fur
did.
baby.
Oh, no.
She made it over 18 years.
Yes.
Just a couple years ago, we lost her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was her name?
Jenna.
Jenna. What was Jenna?
Jenna was part Australian Shepherd, part Black Lab.
Oh, okay. That's an interesting mix.
She was a smart one.
I
Yeah.
bet.
Yeah.
I bet. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw your fur baby marker out front on the way in.
Which one?
Oh, well, it was on the right side as you're coming into that patio. It was out in the garden type.
Oh, yeah. I think somebody got that from Morgan as a gift. Probably, when was it? I guess it was middle of December. I think it was the week of Christmas, but we lost ours back a little bit ago, and we knew it was coming. We knew it was coming for about 2 years because she was slowing down. She was having issues. She was on all sorts of meds, and she only made it to I think 13 or 14. We thought we probably had quite a bit more time with her because of the breed. She could have made it to 16, 17 years,
What was
because of her breed. She was a Maltese poodle mix. And one day Morgan came home from work and she couldn't walk. Like her back legs just wouldn't work. And she was on the phone with me whenever she came in, and she's like, "Brenda, what's wrong? I'll call you back." And so we took her to the vet, and the vet's like, "Not great. She's got 2 collapsed vertebrae, just randomly. She was fine when we left her to go to work, and when we came home, it had just kind of fallen apart." So, and it's rough. And I've talked to so many people. Trista Morris. She lost her, I think, cat not too long ago. It's a lot of people have just lost their fur babies, and it's so rough. And then you start talking to each other about it, and you know what the other person went through and how hard it is, and it's rough. It's real rough, and it's different than losing a family member because it's hard to convey to people how much that animal meant to you.
I understand.
Yeah.
So
I understand.
Well, we got kind of lucky there. A place that we had never heard of helped us. Our dog was struggling for about 3 years, and but would have all kinds of good moments and could get around and all of that. But mentally, I guess,
and she
was on a lot of meds too. But a place called Lap of Love. The vet comes to the house and puts them down where they're comfortable.
Yeah.
And it's totally peaceful. It was beautiful. It was instant relief for all three of us.
Yeah.
It was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And then they, they take them off.
Yeah.
And you get a care package later and a card from them, and they're sweet. And
that's awesome.
just made that so easy.
I wish I could remember the name of the place that we went to. It's just on the south side of Azle, right as you cross the bridge, leaving, I think that's Lake Worth on 199. But they were just so perfect with the entire thing. I mean, they talked us through the entire process. The vet, I mean, as he was doing things, he's like, okay, this is what I'm doing now, and this is what she's feeling. And so that was great. And then they even called, like a week later, they called Morgan just to say, hey, we're thinking about you. And hope you're doing okay. And
Yeah.
I was just like, God, they did not have to do that. That's so awesome. But some people really get it.
Yes, they do. And for us, we kept waiting for her to tell us it was time, and she just kept, declining, and it was just really poor at the end. And it took me like 2 weeks to let go of that and start reflecting on all of the funny, good times that we had, and, flipping back in our little photo album. We still had a photo album, and, all the things we would camp together and all of those things. And then you start remembering those times, and those are the things that really stick. This period that
dog was with us in that Volkswagen bus and made it to 14 states.
Awesome.
That's more than some people do.
Oh, yeah.
So, the intensity of this moment ends up being not the thing that you can focus on. After a period of time, you really do start to reflect back on all of the things you did together and all of the goofy, this was her favorite toy, and she really liked this, and one time she snuck French fries out of the, those kinds of things, right?
Yeah.
So
I guess it's been 1.5 or 2 years, something like that.
I don't know. We're
still furless.
Time. Yes, we're still furless.
We're rolling furless for as long as we can.
We do have a neighborhood cat, Boots, that comes by.
Shout out Boots.
Shout out Boots.
That's awesome. I had something I wanted to ask you, and I forgot. That's okay.
It'll come.
So whenever I do these edits after the recording, I always trim out the silly things like dead space and me saying, oh, I forgot what I was going to talk about. Well, you're geared up. Do you have another song you want to play for us?
Sure.
Paul, you going to get in on this one?
No, I didn't bring anything. This is weird. Because normally I play bass and drums at the same time.
At the same time, okay.
I'm just sitting here.
Yeah, sounds good.
Well, we're glad you're here.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
This is cool.
He's my emotional support human. This one, it's called Lorraine, and I haven't recorded it or anything yet. I just played it in public for the last time last Sunday, so... Well, she works all week in the North Texas heat, comes home and takes a quick shower, packs her gear in the van, guitar and amp in each hand, and she's up on the stage within the hour. Oh, it's hotter than Hades, this life ain't for the ladies, and fantasies don't ever come true. She's got talent and grit. She don't know when to quit. Ain't it funny what dreams will make you do? Oh, Lorraine knows the truth. Fortune favors youth, and her hair's already tinged gray. Oh, her door slowly closing, and deep down she knows it. It's as plain as the lines on her face. Oh, it's harder than Hades. You know this life ain't for the ladies, and fantasies don't ever come true. She's got talent and grit. She don't know when to quit. Ain't it funny what dreams will make you do? Oh, Lorraine knows the truth. She wasted too much time, and the thing that held her back was the doubt in her mind's eyes. Oh, she knows she's going nowhere. Funny thing is, she don't care. It's not about fortune or fame. She just needs a little spotlight to make her feel alright. And all the regulars, they call her by name. Oh, it's harder than Hades. You know this life ain't for the ladies, and fantasies don't ever come true. She's got talent and grit. She don't know when to quit. Ain't it funny what dreams will make you do? Yes, it's funny what dreams will make you do. You were saving that.
Well, sometimes, playing for a one-person audience, you got to remind your guests that there's more people listening. They're clapping for you right now.
Right on.
So the last song had kind of a story behind it. Does that one have a story too?
This one, I think I started writing after we played Lola's one day, and the heat index was 103, and I was like, it's just too hot for this, and I'm too old for this, and that's just how I was feeling. So
yeah, I haven't been out to Lola's in so long, and I'd love that place. It's such an interesting setup, and it always draws a great crowd. I mean, the people out there are just so laid back. Everybody's fun, and there's kind of a core group of people that work at that place, and I think a couple of them have moved on since the last time I was there. But it's just got a good vibe. I just love it.
yeah, it does.
Do y'all gig there pretty often, or?
Fairly. Yeah.
We might have done 4 or 5 there last year too.
It's got a real good Texas feel to it. It's got this nice mixture of indoor, outdoor, and beer garden and concert, and yeah.
Well, maybe y'all are the ones I need to come see next time we go to Lola's.
There you go.
So anytime, now that y'all have been on Fort Worth Roots, anytime that y'all have something coming up, if you'll tag Fort Worth Roots in it,
okay,
I'll see it and I'll share it.
Okay.
Or send it to me directly and I'll share it on our page. And, if I can remember, there's so much stuff going on, but I'll even put it on that week's episode. Tell them, hey, make sure you go catch Cari and Paul out at blah, blah, blah. So,
awesome.
But what's on the schedule right now? What's coming up next?
Tuesday we're out in Garland, at Lakewood.
Brewing.
They make. Have you ever had the Temptress?
I think the liquid
Imperial
Temptress.
Stout.
Yeah, it's a serious drink.
It's good night juice.
Yeah, it's like 12%.
Yes,
right?
it's very heavy, but it's delicious. So we're out there on Tuesday.
And you just said this. Where is that at?
Lakewood and Garland.
Garland. Okay. Damn, that's a drive.
Yeah.
It's our first time in Garland.
And then I think we're back.
The Tuesday after, we were going to be at Lola's, on the side of Lola's, that's the saloon.
Right.
For a thing called Listening and Libations, where the artist shows up and you kind of party and drink and you're interviewed and talk about the new album, because we just released, I guess technically this month, our second album. And we were going to promote it, but that's just been postponed. Scheduling conflicts.
Is that here, Fort Worth, putting that on?
I don't know if they're linked to that or not.
I don't know.
Be interesting to find out.
But the guy at Lola Stito does the interview there, and he does a great job.
Yeah.
Very cool.
We've been to a couple for different artists. We're looking forward to it.
Yeah. So when's this this album that you're talking about? It's out now.
Yes.
And where can people go to find that?
It's on all of your streaming services and
What's the name of it?
Bandcamp. It's called Just Us.
Just Us.
And we did all of the instrumentation and everything. So, like, he's playing bass and drum set and congas. And I'm doing all the guitars and keyboard and banjo and mandolin and harmonica. And
Oh, wow. Y'all got like Willie Nelson family skills. Y'all do it all.
well,
Put a lot in this one.
jack of all trades and master of none kind of deal, right? Right.
And our first album was last year in February.
It was.
And it was called Hot Ash. And it's
Oh,
good
I
too.
saw that. Okay, when I was looking for stuff.
Yep,
Yeah.
9 originals there. Our new one is just 6 songs, 5 original. 1 song is in public domain,
Right.
down and out. So you can do it if you want and attempt to sell it.
Nice.
So we did.
Right.
It's fun.
Copyright runs out.
Well, send me whatever links you can think of, and I'll put it in the show notes whenever we put this out.
Okay.
Let's see. So not this Monday, 3 Mondays from this Monday. So that's when your episode will be out.
Okay.
Nice.
Awesome.
And I'll make sure that I send you a link and all that good stuff.
Okay.
Social media, things like that. Where can people find you?
Do
you have a website?
We do have an old school website. We are www.latetothestationmusic.com.
Okay.
And we keep it updated.
We do keep it updated. We like to rag on each other. We're both different parts of the music side of things. It's like, marketing needs to get on this. That means I need to go be doing something, and
or IT.
IT is behind. That means I need to go update the webpage.
And creative department meets every morning.
Right. Creative department needs to put that event out on social media. That means him.
That's awesome.
So there's that, and then we're on the Facebook, and we're exploring TikTok. So I don't know.
TikTok's okay. Like it's okay to it's not hard to transition into TikTok.
Okay.
The one that I have trouble with is Twitter. I just don't understand it. Like I don't get the point.
I do a lot of reading on Twitter, but I don't really tweet ever.
Yeah.
I follow a couple of people, and that's kind of it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, don't be afraid of TikTok. It's pretty easy. It's a quick little videos. What's weird about TikTok is I'll put out some really strong content, like well put together videos about musicians and things like that, and it'll get 500-600 hits. And then I put out a stupid video of me yesterday at the gas station because the storm was coming and everybody was, there wasn't an open pump, the gas cans came out, and I just made a little video like, oh, look at Texas, we're not getting caught off guard this time.
No.
And it got like 4,000 hits. I'm like, what is this? Doesn't make any sense. So, but whatever.
Right.
I'm never going to understand it.
I think, yes. I echo that sentiment.
Just throwing spaghetti at the wall. Is
Right.
it done?
Yeah.
Right.
All right.
For sure. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what some of it is, That's probably how most of our great inventions were finally put together, Just
Probably.
throwing spaghetti at the wall.
Yeah.
And songwriting took a page out of Willie Nelson's technique, I guess.
Right.
He does a no refusal song policy. That's why he has thousands of songs.
What does that mean?
If he gets an idea, he writes it.
Nice.
He does them all.
Yeah. I love hearing interviews with him and the family, and one of the interesting things about them is they just keep instruments all over the house that you can just pick up and start playing whenever you want.
Yeah.
So.
I think that's key. It's like, going to the pantry and finding the one thing you like to eat. If it's there in front of you, you'll pick it up.
Yeah.
And you'll do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I've been threatening Morgan, telling her I'm going to get a guitar I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, but I'm going to get a guitar. Yeah.
It feels good, and it doesn't take a lot to learn 3 chords and be able to do a lot.
Right. Yeah. That's what I keep hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah, put it on a stand, keep it in the living room, and you'll touch it more.
You'll touch it. Yeah.
Well, definitely more than just an idea in my head, if it's actually there. Yeah.
And if it's pretty, it's art. It's
Oh, yeah.
It's good furniture. Nice
Taylor, yeah.
Right?
Go get me a Taylor.
Right.
Maybe. Sounds beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to get you guys out of here. Do you want to play one more song before we go?
Sure.
Or I always feel like I'm asking too much.
No.
Okay.
We're used to 3 and 4 hour sets.
Yeah, right.
Right.
What you gonna play?
More ways. Anyway, he has a song called "She Got the Gold."
Jerry Reed.
Jerry Reed. She got the gold mine and I got the shaft.
Oh, I know that one.
And so I was trying to write a song that had some double entendre in it. So that's
It's not as funny.
it's not as funny.
It's
No.
not funny.
But I did pull it off a couple of times. So here we go. Well, it's over. Yes, it's over. There's no denying that now. First the fighting and the dividing. Our future's gone. You walked out. I'm still paying for the good times. She cast her savings just to run. So, baby, looks like I'm broke here in more ways than one. I'm at 0, no yes than 0. You see, I hold that bank alone. We were building this dream together, and now I'm going it alone. I hope your freedom, dear, was worth it. Cost my heart a handsome sum. So, baby, looks like I'm broke here in more ways than one. My bank account will heal. My trust might never will. And that's the real thing you stole. Oh, I can see it, yes I can see it, just how you blurred my vision. You had me swept up in all your grandeur and your poor decisions. Bought the mansion and the cars, but it was never quite enough. So, baby, looks like I'm broke here in more ways than one. My bank account will heal. My heart might never will. And that's the real thing you stole. Oh, I can see it, yes I can see it, just how you blurred my vision. You had me swept up in all your grandeur and your poor decisions. Bought the mansion and the cars, but it was never quite enough. So, baby, looks like I'm broke here in more ways than one. Yes, baby, I'm standing broke here in more ways than one.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm going to have so much fun putting this episode together.
Thank you. I don't feel like we gave you very much to talk with.
Oh, yeah,
but-
you did. Yeah. And playing 3 times for me, I feel like I'm stealing from you now.
Oh, no. This is joy. Like,
That's great.
best
That
part
is
of
so
every
great.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, next time y'all have an album coming out or a single, or y'all just want to get together and talk, just holler at me. You're always welcome on Fort Worth Roots.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Thank you. All right. Well, Cari and Paul, thanks again. And Fort Worth Roots, we will see y'all next week. a very sincere thank you to our guest today, Cari and Paul Smith. Don't forget you can find their information on www.latetothestationmusic.com. That'll be in the show notes. You do not have to remember it. Their new album, Just Us, is on their website. I'll have that in the show notes. I'll also have a link to their Bandcamp. The album they released before this was called Hot Ash. These are two of the nicest people you will ever meet, and I cannot wait to see them grow as artists, as a team, and just see what they have in store for us in the future. Squad STX, thanks again. SquadSTX.com, that's Boys Overnight Camping. Ages, come on, where is it? Age 11 through 16, 100% outdoor, overnight camping, hiking, wilderness skills, land navigation, laser tag missions. They have 2 different packages. I'm scanning, I'm looking for it. Hurry up, Andrew. There it is. Boys Summer Camp, 5 days, 4 nights. And they also have a 3-day, 2-night father and son camp trip. So lots of options there. River Oaks Springfest Car Show. You guys are not going to get me to shut up about this until after the event. We'd love to see you come out. April 30th. Yes, I'm talking to you. I'm not talking to you? Yes, I'm talking to you. I don't see anybody else here. Must be talking to you. Games, events, pop-up market, vendors, classic cars. It's going to be a blast. Thank y'all for being here. I genuinely appreciate every single one of these episodes that y'all download. Holler at me. Let me know what you think about the show. Media at FortWorthRoots.com. Y'all have a great week. I will see you next Monday. Peace.